It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show, show. It's the Paris Chong Show. Sit down and chat for a while.
I just didn't think of it.
Tell me everything you know. I'm obsessed with it. I listen to it all day long. Eventually, when I get more dough, I want to record a whole song about it.
Oh,
like,
you
we'll
do?
finish the whole song.
Like Carry
We'll
On?
make the whole song. I can't believe I'm so lucky to have Andrew Raiher here, this very talented musician that my girlfriend, Sally Boyden, introduced me to, that she worked with back in the day in London, that he can't remember any of the gigs because he was doing too much what?
Everything.
Okay. And now you're sober.
Pretty much.
How boring.
I know.
I was going to offer you
I'll
a
work
glass
on
of
it.
wine. I know. I would have offered you some
I'll win
crack.
myself
I was going to
back on.
bring out the crack, but I know you're sober. So, so Sally, I just shared that compliment that you shared with me, that when she opens up her mouth, gold comes out.
Right.
Yeah. And Sally, I told Sally, I said, I need a jingle for the Paris Chong Show. So I called her up and I said, hey, I need a little jingle that sounds like, it's a Paris Chong Show. And she's like, I said, can you just play some piano on this and write the song with me? She goes, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to my friend Andrew because he's a brilliant musician and he has a studio in his house. He could do it really quick. And I said, okay. So then we did it, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. And we almost, I forgot to tell you to bring in your guitar so we could have just sang it live. But
Where's
you know what?
the
You're not
unplugged?
going anywhere, are you? I'm glad you're meeting all these guys at Visible Audio Studios and Vocal. I hope I'm saying everything right. Visible Audio Studios is where we are, which is these lovely
great
gentlemen,
great
guys
that
are hooking me up with doing this podcast. They're amazing podcast producers. So if you need to make a podcast, you need to come down here and do your podcast. And Neil Alonzo, who I met through Terry LaRue. So these guys have been really good to me. And I think that we all can work together to help get more business to each other. So you're a musician.
I am.
And I'm a talented musician. So how did you tell us about your musical career?
My musical career. Well, I started playing when I was about 3, different instruments, classical music, pushy mum, all the normal stuff.
Yeah.
And then I picked up some stuff on my own, and then I realized, this is bringing me a lot of opportunity. And things snowball, I think when you have a sense that something's giving you like a great experience, you just do more.
Yeah.
I started playing violin and guitar and piano and singing, and doors were opening, Sometimes you do things in life and you have this sense, this is a good thing for me to do. Things are happening. There's opportunities are getting created, And what can I say? 20 years go by, 30 years go by, you find yourself gigging. I met Sally in the middle of that. Through Sally, I met Sia, the Australian wonder artist. I used to play guitars with her in London back in the crazy days. We would tour.
You don't remember?
I mean, I'm told these are some of the things that I did.
There's pictures of you there, right?
Occasionally someone sends me a picture and I'm like...
That was me?
Yeah. And so so Sal and I then used to gig around town, and we all knew the same people. It's kind of the scene, And eventually I got into more film composition.
Right.
So TV and film.
That's where the money is, right?
That's where if you're a guy like me, you're trying to say, well, how can I do the best I can do with the skills that I have?
Right.
And then in London, through a good friend, I got hooked up with a pretty big-time composer here. So a guy who was doing film and TV. And long story short, I end up conducting the orchestra at Air Studios of this big score, and the guy's looking at me like, who is this guy? And I said, hi, nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you're coming to LA to work with me. And I jumped on a plane, and I've been here ever since.
Wow, how many years is that?
That is about 20 years.
Wow, and you're rooted here now too, and you have your daughter was with an American woman.
I have a son.
A son. Your son.
I have a son with an American woman.
Okay.
So
American woman.
I am a citizen now.
Yay.
I'm like legit. So I'm pretty native
You're settled
now.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, I for some reason thought you had a daughter. We both have sons. So mine's since 20.
Well, no, not only do we
today.
both have sons, they're both called Leo.
Oh, that's right. Can you believe
Is that true?
Yeah.
I have a recollection.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both named Leo.
I remember
that is amazing. Yeah. And are you a Leo?
No.
I'm a Leo.
You are
I
a
am a
Leo. He
and
is
my
called
son's
Leo.
named Leo. And
Right.
both
My
his
son is a
godparents are
Leo who is called Leo.
Oh my God. And my son Leo used to say, why aren't I a Leo? And
That's
I
a
said,
good
because you're
question.
Leo the Libra. And he said, "Oh, okay." Now you're working. You were one of the many people to contribute music to the new Apple TV show with Kristen Wiig, Palm Royale.
That is true.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just enjoying a nice moment with that right now. People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when I know that I've sung on something or written something, and like I think in music, like the only true judge is the public.
Yes.
And it's always a big kind of honor for me when something's out there and I'm like, oh, I was lucky enough to do something.
Yeah.
So
What
it was
work
pretty
are you
cool.
most proud of?
On the show?
No, just in general.
In my life?
In your
Oh,
life.
gosh.
Since you were 3 till now.
I will
writing
tell you the
music.
answer to that, and it's a strange answer. So there's Steve Coogan. Do you know who Steve Coogan is?
No.
He's an English actor and comedian.
Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan, and he used to have a show which was a parody show called The Alan Partridge Show. I'm Alan Partridge. It doesn't matter. He was created by Armando Iannucci, who's a very famous kind of showrunnery writer, guy who does a lot of comedic stuff. Amazing. Anyway, they had this character, Alan Partridge, and then they made this feature film that was not the best film in the world. But when my buddy called and said, we're going to sing on it and you're going to do all this stuff, and I was like, that is the work I'm most proud of.
Really?
And I've done
I haven't heard
bigger,
of that show.
better things.
I lived in London. I remember the EastEnders, Wogan show, Top of the Pops.
Terry Wogan.
I remember this TV going off at midnight, and then you couldn't watch anything. There was only like 3 channels or something.
That's right, because you got to go to bed.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
No,
Stay
I
up,
wasn't going
go
to
to
bed
bed.
back in those days. I was not even
No,
close to
actually,
going
me
to-
neither.
no,
Yeah.
That's why you don't remember anything.
Correct.
But I remember things. But yeah, Sally's got an unbelievable memory. She's like an elephant.
Right.
Elephant
It's
memory.
so useful to me since
Yeah.
so many of the memories
Yeah.
actually involve her.
Yeah.
I can be like, hey, library, what happened here? And blah, blah, blah. Yeah, get all
Well,
the info.
I heard you guys are getting ready to do some more music together.
We sure are. We have
Yeah.
a writing backlog to do. You know, we were in different places for a
Right.
while. She was in London and everything, and now she's here. And I think she's hot on the heels of an option being picked up by her publisher. So that's
Love
exciting.
that.
So we'll go to the studio and we will do what we do, which is make great music.
Now,
I
do you
hope.
have an album of your own?
I don't do an artist project at the moment. Most of my contributions are film and TV and stuff like that. I just finished a TV show in Italy called Antonia, but it's really Italy. It's like Italian language.
Yeah.
But I'll write songs for that. So I will do collaborations with artists and stuff like that to create content for those shows, but not my own, like, here is the Andrew Raiher
Why?
album. You know, why? I just have always felt that my art is best expressed with other art, with other media. You know what I mean? So I'm very inspired by moving picture and narrative. I've always been a film lover. I really, really love film. And, you know, if I have an opportunity to sort of help a production in that way and give my art to it that way, I really, really enjoy it. I
That's
get a lot out of that.
interesting that you didn't want to. It just seems like most musicians kind of want to go in that direction. Now, when you said you worked with the composer, can you tell us who that was?
Which one when?
Why you moved here?
Yeah, his name is Klaus Bardelt. Most famously, he wrote the score for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, a couple people heard that tune. And he was in a thing where he's actually a German guy, but he was in Europe on a sort of a sabbatical. And he was doing a project and he needed European guys. And he got a bit confused into the whole thing because it's very hard to get into that world. It's a very small club. But somehow I kind of, what's the word? Inveigled? I don't know what the word
Inveigled?
is. Something
I
like that.
it. I've never heard of it, and
Make
that's
it
why
up.
I love it.
Say it
I
in
don't make up your
say
own
it in a
words
deli.
here.
They'll
We
bring you
make our own
something. Yeah.
words.
Anyway, I got involved in the project, and I guess he was reasonably impressed. And there you go.
Well, I'm impressed with the jingle. That Sally really made that. And you made. I thought it took like 2 seconds, but I didn't realize you spent more time on it. For me, it took 2 seconds.
No,
It was
really,
like-
2 seconds.
It was 2 seconds.
No,
to
honestly.
me. No, I know.
Yeah.
And we have a mutual friend, Elizabeth.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the great artist herself, actually,
Yeah.
singer, songwriter, poet, author, and art collector.
But yeah, I was gonna say she's so gorgeous. I think she's gorgeous.
She is a beauty.
She's a beaut. So so you're working on some work with her.
Yeah.
I know. I think what is it? What's your next big project that you're like? What's on your bucket list to do next musically?
What I really want to do is expand my operation into actually not unlike the world that we're in right now. I would like to see myself now providing music to a much broader range of clients. So rather than one movie, one TV show, I really want people who are making content to have my music at their fingertips
Yeah.
at all times.
Wow.
Because over a 25 career, there's a lot of music. A lot of music for pretty much anything you
Do
could ever
you
need.
have a dream client that you'd like to work with that you can think of?
Oh, I don't know. Disney, Warner Brothers,
Disney,
Sony.
Warner Brothers. Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
Oh, Disney. That'd be good.
I mean, the major studios have a big need. There's so much content right now. You know, with all the VOD platforms, there's just infinite content. So I guess my goal is just to make sure that when they reach for a music need, it's mine.
Well, that's a good goal to have.
Uh-huh.
And you're so talented, I can't see why that can't happen for you.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, well, hopefully one of these days someone will see that on the Paris Chong Show and call you up.
Immediately they're going to see on the Paris Chong Show millions of people.
I know
you know where to find me. Right
I know, right? Well, no, you're just so talented. I loved working with you. I hope we can work together. I want to do the whole song after we get our sponsors going and
I should
get it
say
going.
at this point, you know, like you don't advertise yourself as a singer, right?
No.
But then you came with this ditty that was fully formed, kind of like
Oh,
Colonel.
well, that was like I'm a closet singer. I really wanted to be in a band at one point. You know, I dated Mikey, the bass player from Culture Club. So we, you know, just singing in the car, like back in the day, he'd be like, God, you really have a nice voice. You let me hear you sing. And I was just too shy to do it.
Really?
And but then I finally I put a little band together. I used to take the train down to, they were in Wales.
Yeah.
And we did a few performances around town, and Mikey helped produce the tracks and stuff. But then I ended up moving here to do that, and then, you know, everybody that moves to LA end up we all become waiters.
Right.
Or servers. What do you say? What do you
Right,
call
but,
them now?
you know, you
Servers?
say all
So
that,
I was
you're-
like, oh, hey, I wanted to be a singer, and now I'm serving this guy a pink squirrel. What the hell happened?
But full circle, because you wind up at my place, and
Yeah.
I'm like, here's a microphone. Like, it's the Paris. I'm like, you say you
was
can't
fun.
sing.
No,
I mean,
I
you nailed
miss
it.
singing.
You nailed it.
I do-
Super talented,
yeah.
and you've got an awesome voice for it.
Thank you.
Which is why we're all listening to you. But
Yeah.
no, I wanted to make sure I said what an amazing surprise it was. It was like, you're nailing it.
Oh,
Amazing.
well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a while, but it's fun singing. Singing's so much fun.
It is.
It's a lot of fun, and I also was on K-Jazz, so I did do radio before. So it is kind of like full circle, and
Right.
and it's fun to do these. I don't, you know, I think this is kind of the wave of the future. I think that podcasts and streaming and all these other things, it's different. It's more popular now than even listening to the radio, right?
Right. I think it is the radio.
It is the radio.
I call it the radio.
Does anybody even listen to the radio?
I can't imagine they do. Do
right?
cars even have radios?
they?
Because that was the way we always
I don't
used to listen,
know.
right?
They
You
don't
know,
have CD players anymore. So
Yeah,
they
no,
don't
I
have-
think it's
everybody
podcast
listens
or
to
bust. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a podcast?
I don't yet.
Are you you can come here and do your podcast?
I think
about
I'd
music.
better.
I think you guys this is your next client, and you're welcome.
Solved. Solved.
This is where you
We
do your
fixed it.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going to happen with you because you can't remember anything. So
Right.
at least they can film it and then you'll remember.
No, I'll have a helper.
Hey,
Someone
why
who
don't you
reminds me of
Yeah,
things.
no,
Well, I have to know what to talk
You're
about.
going to get a lot of help here. These guys are great.
Yeah.
And what about your water skiing skills?
Amazing. I can do slalom skiing
Okay.
and slightly bad kneeboarding.
I was wondering. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Was
there you
that
go.
is that your new hobby?
Not at all. It's an old hobby.
I'm glad. I asked Andrew, what is there anything you want to talk about specifically? And he said water skiing.
Yeah, all the boys in London will know exactly why I'm talking about water skiing. It's a big part of our lives.
Okay.
Strangely.
I've never
in London,
been water skiing.
in the
It looks
freezing
scary.
cold.
Oh God, how horrible.
Yep. We're strange people.
Nothing fun sounding about any of this.
I know. I get it.
I like the music career better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part 2 of Andrew Raih's interview, filmed a few months later.
Hello again. Okay, sit down. Don't scratch yourself. Don't lick
narrow
yourself. Don't
fingers.
lick your balls. Don't do anything embarrassing, please.
Don't talk to me like that.
Oh, or you. I was actually talking. I'm sorry. This guy was talking to Andrew.
Yeah, so she says now.
Hi. Welcome back to the Paris Chong Show. Today we have somebody doing a repeat interview. And this is my friend and musician that helped me write the Paris Chong Show jingle, Andrew Raiher.
That is me. Nice
That
to
is
see
you.
you again.
And since I saw you the last time, which it's been a minute, it's been a beat. But what have you been up to lately besides what we discussed earlier, which was that you did music for Palm Royale that won an Emmy? No, that won a Emmy.
It did.
It won an Emmy.
It won
the
an Emmy
only
for
one
music.
for
The-
music.
the
The
only
only
one it
show
won.
that won an Emmy because of you. And while you were rehearsing,
It was a
this,
team effort. I will
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
It was a team effort and a good team effort, but, you know, we're pretty happy with it because
Yeah.
when you're up for 11 Emmys and the only one you win is music,
that has something to do with you.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you
That
very
must be
much.
incredible.
Thanks.
Do you think that will help you get more work?
I hope so. I
Yeah.
think that every time, I'm less focused on that. It's more of a recognition that you work hard, you do your best, you work hard, you do your best, and every now and then, every 30
Somebody
years or
throws you a
whatever it is,
bone.
someone says, well done.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, that's kind of, you're living in Hollywood, so that's kind of like part of the making it
It's
here
the thing.
is an
It's the
award
thing,
like
win
that.
an award or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you, now I just heard you rehearsing with Sally earlier in the conference room. I didn't realize you had such a beautiful voice.
It's very kind of you to say that. In fact, most of my education in music was singing. Because I tried to get into music college for the violin that I played. But
Right.
when I went to the audition, they sort of looked at each other and they were like, another violinist, we don't need another violinist. And they were like, what else can you do? And I was like, I can sing. And then they said, well, sing. And I sang and they were like, do you want to place as a singer? And I was like, this seems like the only way I'm going to get educated. So I said, yes. I ended up having like this sort of operatic vocal education with some of the best people in London.
Wow.
And there was a lot of singing. Because if
Really?
you're a guy and you can sing, there's a lot to do.
That's a good thing to be a guy and be able to sing. Now,
It's a
what
thing.
did you sing at that audition?
Some kind of classical stuff.
Like
you
what?
know? I don't know. It was a million years ago. You know what? I think I do remember one of the things. It was called sea, the hell's that thing called? Sea shanty, sea breeze, sea foam, sea something.
Sea
But it
breeze?
was a poem.
Oh.
John Ireland poem it was, set to music by someone, and that's a great story.
Well, how can you sing it now?
I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And it goes on.
I don't know that song, but I like it.
Well, it's an art song.
I
So
like
I wouldn't
it.
say that it was
And
top
how old
10.
Were you?
I don't know, 20 or something.
That's cute. My son would never do that. My son,
Right.
ironically, we both have sons named Leo.
That's right.
Yeah, and my son just turned 21, and he was the kid that you go to the school plays, and all the kids are up there, and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And my son would just be sitting there staring and doing nothing. I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay.
Right. No,
Super
I'd
shy
long
or
figured
bad
out
singer, I
that,
don't know.
if I sang or played music or something, I would get the attention that I so badly craved.
Yeah.
So I made that into my thing.
Well, I think it's good. You have a really beautiful voice. So,
Well, thank you.
So did your son play and sing, or
No, he's healthier. No,
He's healthier.
He just doesn't do those things.
what
Yeah.
does he do?
Yeah.
Besides he comes home late.
Comes what
He
he
comes home late.
He comes home late, misbehaves in my car, and he sports. Lots of sports.
What sports?
Volleyball, basketball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's quite
All
talented.
American sports. Oh,
he's an
he's
American.
an American
And that's
kid.
the difference as well. An English person, you grow up
Soccer.
in London, either you do
Football.
soccer or maybe some rugby, but it's
Rugby.
raining all the time.
tennis.
Right? Why do you think we have a lot of good musicians coming out of the
'Cause there's
UK?
nothing
Because
to
it's
do
freezing
outside.
cold. Everybody's indoors. You're either going to play
Yeah.
some kind of board game, have sex with someone or whatever.
I'd rather do the second.
Right.
Board
These are
games.
all choices, but you can actually
personally.
do a mix and match. You can do.
sex and board games together.
Well, I hadn't
Oh,
got as far as
hell
playing
no.
music.
What?
You can do music,
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah.
so then you can do 2 and 3 and just forget
yeah,
one.
for one board games.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I do think I really, honestly, joking apart, think that's why there's like a long history of really good English music and musicians.
There really is.
There really is
It's all
nothing else to
good.
do.
No, there really is like an overload of the talent coming out of England as far as music goes.
It's just
the Beatles,
nothing.
Bowie,
Yeah. There's just no other choice.
Yeah, but I mean, not that America doesn't have some of the greats, but I loved my time in England and being in the world of music there. I lived
Right.
really close to Abbey Road.
Right. It's where I was born.
You
right,
were?
A road away. Yeah.
Oh, and so that's near St. John's Wood, right?
That is where I was born.
Oh, you were born in St. John's Wood?
Sure was.
That's where I lived. NW8.
NW8, baby.
NW8.
Yeah, let's go.
And, yeah. I lived off the St. John's Wood High Street.
So did I for
Did
many
you
years.
really?
And we lived in a small flat in London. My parents wanted to be central
Yeah.
rather than in a family home because they're great people. And so they decided that we should live in this small flat in this very nice area. That's where I grew up the first 10, 11 years of my life.
I lived off Charles Lane. It was at the top of the road.
King Charles thingy.
It was Charles Road. No, not King Charles's
Yeah,
thingy. I
yeah,
don't even want
yeah.
to know about that. But the Charles
Taking
Lane.
that somewhere else. Charles
You have
Lane.
to.
I'll take your word for it. It's a while since
Yeah.
I've been
So
there.
and there was a Europa Market.
Yes.
I don't know if they have Europas anymore. I heard they did not. Do you remember Europa?
I do remember Europa.
I loved it there. I'd go and get my Walker's Crisps, my sausage roll, and my horrible magazines with the naked girls on page 3.
Right.
That was a life.
Right.
I
That was
wouldn't-
England.
I know. Do they still do that?
I hope so.
Do they?
I hope so. It was
page 3
it was your
still there?
fastest way to boobs.
Is it?
As a young person, you could go in and peruse the boobs
I
and then go
just-
home again.
I just
We didn't
think
have
it's
the
the
internet.
weirdest thing.
We didn't have infinite boobs. We
Yeah.
had to go and look at page 3.
So what was that
And-
chick's name? Samantha,
So,
with the well-endowed girl, Samantha, and she was a pop star for a minute. Samantha something. What the hell was her name? I think you know who I'm talking about, right?
Sally. Yeah. So.
Sally,
oh
remember?
my God. There you go,
So,
Samantha
Samantha
Fox.
Fox. How
Someone's
did you
been
pull
paying
it?
attention
Hello,
to the
somebody
right
knows
things.
what page 3 is. Okay,
Like, how did
Riverside.
you, also, you're from America. How do
He's
you know
from
that?
Riverside. How do you know what this is?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, he's like that. And,
now are you trying to do any music on your own as a, do you want to start a new band for you?
funny you ask. I mean, in the last.
Water.
Excuse you. You're right.
Oh, of course, I have to drink my water out of a wine glass because look at this. Let me get this. Because somebody gave me these wine. How classy people get shit-faced.
That's about right.
That was a birthday present.
That's about right.
Oh, this one's also good. Sex is like pizza. When it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
I like that.
My coasters.
I like
so
that a
yeah.
lot.
So just yesterday, you thought you're going to start a new band and you're going to start singing again in your own band?
I just had this idea that I should write an album.
I think that's an amazing idea.
I think it's because I've been playing with this other band that's a fun band with friends, and I love them and I love it. And then I was like, I think I should probably do more.
What kind of music is it? You're a rock
It's
and roll
like
kind of guy.
it's like 70s stuff, and it's all good. And
Oh, I love 70s rock and roll. It's
come
the
and
best.
see us play at the Mint on
When?
the 7th of December.
I will be there.
You will
My friend
be-
used to be in the house band there, P. He wrote that song "Missing You" that John Waite sang.
Oh
Yeah. He goes by P, and it took me years and years. He's I call him my only straight guy friend because
Right.
most of my guy friends are gay.
Right.
But he used to be on the road with Eric Clapton and Bette Midler.
He's
And-
like a touring guitarist.
yeah,
like a
but he wrote
musician.
that song,
Uh-huh.
and he did very well from the one song. But I didn't really know what his real name. I was always like, P, what's your real name? He's like, it's just P.
What is his name?
Mark Leonard.
What's with the P?
I don't know.
I think we need to find out.
We'll have him on next. He has to come on the show. He's one of my artsy fartsy friends. That's the whole thing.
If you call yourself P,
Yeah, that's how
there
you
are
got
questions.
here because you're artsy fartsy.
Artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
How I
So,
describe myself.
are you gonna have Sally do backing for you?
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
When we started singing just then, I was like, guess she's singing at the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she should be.
Yeah,
She still sounds so amazing.
Always.
I called my friend Sally Boyden and I said, I'm starting a podcast, but I want to just get my own jingle because I don't want to have to deal with asking anyone permission to use a song. And I just sang her a little ditty. And she goes, you need to meet my friend Andrew. Andrew will help you write it. And I go, well, don't you play the piano still? She goes, no, you have to have Andrew do it. So then the next thing I know, we're at Andrew's house and we recorded it. And it came out pretty people love it.
Because it's good.
It's really good. People
'Cause you
keep asking
sing
me
it.
for the whole song. I'm like, there isn't a
That's
whole
it.
song.
That's-
I'm like, well, it's a jingle, stupid.
Yeah.
No, but
They want the long version, the
You want a
extended-
long jingle? Like, does
Right.
anybody even do that? Like,
So judgy. They
I
should
know,
just be
this-
happy with what they've got.
yeah. I'm like,
you
it's
know?
a jingle. So do you do jingles for a living ever?
Yeah. I've done,
What jingles? Do anything I know?
No, TV shows in the UK. TV shows in the UK. Before I came here, I did a lot of TV shows. I used to have a cousin who was like the controller at a thing called Sky TV and
Okay.
Living TV. And they would make these shows and they needed like the entire identity. They needed the theme song. They needed the music in
Wow.
between. So I used to make these music
That's
packages.
got to be a good gig
It's great.
and fun.
Totally.
And do they pay better in England or America?
It depends what you're doing. It's sort of pretty much the same.
The same.
Yeah.
Who would be your dream person to collaborate with?
In terms of
Music,
like that
writing,
I would
singing,
work with, sing with,
yeah.
write with. Gosh, wow. All right, I think maybe Post Malone.
Oh, wow.
Here's why. He is, I think he looks like someone who isn't a traditional musician, but I know that he is, and I've heard him talk about his craft and his art, and it's cool because it's like what he does and the way he does it is just so similar to everyone else. When you see the thing, you feel like it isn't. You feel like, oh, he's like a from another planet or whatever, but it's just not true. And everyone's in the studio and like honing and crafting music and writing and lyrics and melodies and all this stuff. And I kind of want to get in on that because I think he's really good at it.
He's amazing too. Plus, he collaborates with so many different people, like Taylor Swift, and then he does a country song, and then
and now he's in the whole country thing for a minute. Yeah,
I think it's really interesting what he's doing. Now, what would you do if Leo came home with tattoos all over his face?
That's a tough one. The thing is that self-expression should always be celebrated and encouraged. I think you've got to, as a parent, you've got to sort of try and understand the line in a person between self-expression and self-harm.
So what would you do?
How about you?
I'd be furious. I'd be mainly because I understand. I mean, I'm not trying to put Post Malone down. What's his real name? I don't even know. He's so
Mark
cool.
I
love that guy.
Kidding.
I think he's great. But I just think it's. I love my son's face. He's so handsome. I'd be so upset. Not that it would make him less handsome, but I'm still trying to talk him out of getting a tattoo on his arm.
Right.
He has beautiful skin, unusual skin.
Right.
He inherited my good Chinese skin, so it's not like normal skin, and he shouldn't. I just think I'm like, I got a tattoo.
Do you have tattoos?
I did, and I stupidly got one on my back, but I wish I wouldn't have. And I always forget I got it until people will, like, sometimes I'll be at the beach and people are like, oh, I like your tattoo. I'm like, oh, I forgot I even got that. It was kind of on a stupid whim.
Yeah, me too.
Where a friend
I've got one stupid tattoo.
I mean, it's a cross, but what my girlfriend was going through some weird shit and she wanted a tattoo, and I was like, it was her birthday, so I said, I'll get you it. I'm going to take you for your birthday, and got it, and then ended up getting one also, and I wish I didn't.
Wait, you were sober and you got
I
an
was
accident?
stone cold sober in the middle. It was in the middle of the day.
I was at least in the middle of the night,
wasn't even
wasted in a Vegas lobby is where I got my tattoo.
Like that's how most people do.
That's how I figure that's how you should get it. But like, do you regret it? No, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah. So when you have like Pac-Man.
Here's what happened. What
do you have?
I like nature and the outdoors and stuff like
Give a
that.
treat.
No, and I can play music and all this stuff, right?
Have an
But
acorn.
I cannot draw at all. Like if I try and draw something, like it's funny, you know? Like
it's a cartoon character.
It's worse. You know,
God.
everything looks like
a stick figure.
Everything looks like a horse from another planet. You know what I mean? No matter what I'm trying to draw.
Okay.
You'd laugh. It's
Where's
funny.
it at? Can I see it?
It's on my ankle.
Can I? Okay. Well, I won't make you take off your shoes, but.
No, I mean, you can see it.
Should we see it?
Yeah, fine.
Let's get
in my tattoo. So I'm wasted out of my face in Vegas at 3 in the morning.
I heard it hurts on your ankle too.
Not when you're that drunk.
Yeah,
Nothing hurts. And so they said, what do you want? And I said, well, I want something to do with nature, and like I want it to be tribal.
Squirrel.
I want it to like have the sun involved.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, you know, some
You
child
got a
is
sun
working in
with
there.
the eyeglasses on.
And so I drew. I was like, imagine if you had a sun,
Oh my
and then
God,
you
you drew
drew
your
some
own
stuff,
tattoo.
and I drew it on this Post-it note. Like I was thinking it would be a collaboration, like and improved by the person whose job it is to draw things on people's skin forever.
Okay, Neil's
right?
getting his camera ready.
I see this. That's rubbernecking, my friend.
What's
That's not
happening?
cool. That's not cool.
Okay.
All right, here is my amazing tattoo.
Oh, I actually think that's fine.
Really?
It looks like one of
I
those
got it?
Mexican suns.
Well,
So he literally just took your tattoo drawing and did the same thing?
that is my first grade drawing that I did, and she just drew on my foot forever. And the best thing about
Well,
it
you know-
is that the best thing. Look at this. The best thing about it is that I had inaccuracies because
Didn't it close the circle?
look at the distance between those two rays
I
of
wouldn't have
sun.
noticed that, but I think that, at least
shocking.
At least no one can really see it, and I don't think it's bad.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't regret it
I-
at all. I like remember. I look at it and I'm like, that was a moment
I
in
regret
time.
mine, yeah.
I know what happened. I'm not sorry, and I'd probably do it again. Except I don't drink anymore.
I know you haven't been drinking. No, everybody quit drinking. The whole world's sober
The
now.
whole world quit drinking
Except for
because
disco.
Everybody got too drunk in COVID.
Oh, is that what you did?
Everybody did.
No,
We
but
bought a
you haven't drank
kegerator.
since COVID?
No. It took like a moment to sort of like wind it down. But I think that, like in LA, right, everybody stopped drinking, I feel like.
Yeah, no, everybody I know quit drinking.
I think it was a reaction to COVID because everyone was kind of asleep at the wheel, and then everyone in COVID had to wake up, and then everyone like tried to numb it, and then it was too much, and then it was like, no, let's live instead.
Yeah, let's stay alive.
I think so.
Yeah. I like wine.
Who doesn't?
So
do I.
I just can't imagine not
I love
having
wine. I love wine.
Yeah,
I don't like how it makes me feel
What-
afterwards, and I
what
don't
did
like
you
not
drink-
being
What were you
present.
drinking?
What was I drinking? It was non-discriminatory,
Yeah, anything,
like,
whatever.
yeah,
Oh,
take
you
all
don't like being
comers.
present? No, it's good to be present.
Yeah,
It's good to be
now
present.
I probably have the addiction of being present. Like I'm really
now
into
you really know what's going on.
meditation
Oh,
and
that's good.
self-hypnosis and like messing about with the insides. You know
So
what I mean?
you hypnotize yourself
Yeah.
to do what?
Talk to you.
You're in hypnotic state right now?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a close-up of this guy.
Exactly.
He's in a hypnotic
Oh,
state.
look.
So-
you've got a subconscious mind and you've got a conscious mind.
Yeah.
And they're fundamentally connected and disconnected, right?
Okay.
But you can do things to have them interface in a different way. That's what self-hypnosis is about, right?
Right.
So under normal circumstances, everything that's going on in the subconscious mind doesn't talk to the conscious mind because you would explode. You couldn't take it.
Now, where are you studying your spirituality? You didn't read a book or go to a church or, wow.
I don't consider
just came
I don't
from
consider
being
it
present.
spirituality.
Yeah, right.
I just consider it the inner self
Yeah.
that you might not often have. I don't think that's.
I always think the inner self is God. Like that's the God.
Okay.
That there wasn't really a guy in a robe and a woman
Yeah, that story does seem unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think that happened,
Right.
so I don't think there's someone like that's going to meet us in heaven or something like that.
Right.
I
Well,
think
I mean,
that
I-
the God is like
yeah.
something to do with
Sure.
like your inner self.
Right. Well, I think that the everything is the everything, so that
Okay.
there is no distinction between anything at all. I think that we perceive distinction between objects, people, ourselves. That's just because of our equipment, our
Right.
eyes and our brain, and
Right.
that's just the best we can
So
do.
what do you think happens to you when we leave this earth?
I think you just try. I don't. It's funny to me that there's a question around it since we know
there-
what happens.
it's a big question for me because it scares me.
Okay, well, on a physical level, we know what happens.
And you're gone.
Well, you're not gone. You're diffused.
I don't know that. No, I know, but
No.
diffused? Oh, dissolved. Diffused.
Well, there's nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
You can only transform. The particles that make you...
Which
Well,
is sad. So that's the thing that's so sad to me is because you kind of actually do die. You personally do. That's it.
Your organization that you call your body, the machine that you call your body, will cease to function doing the things that it does, and it will dissipate.
Yeah. And then you're floating around as a spirit.
Or maybe you're, Disco's kid or whatever,
Wow.
or some part of his fur. Remember that you're not yourself at any moment, right? You
Yeah.
are leaving bits of yourself and gaining other bits through the food that you eat. We have this perception of being individual and static in some way. The opposite is true. We're in constant change and motion. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
The difference is your organs will stop working in some way, but it scares us
It's
because
still sad. It's scary. It's scary because you really don't know because no one's here to tell us what happened. So that's the unknown is kind of scary.
like
right?
when my kid asked me about this, I was like, if you're scared to death, like, were you scared before you were alive? Did that scare you? What do you think happened to you? Who do you think, or what do you think you were before you were alive, if you've ever thought about that?
I don't think we come back as animals or anything like that. I think it's more of a spirit thing. I don't know, but I'm not a expert on this. So
I understand that, but my point is that why be scared of death if you weren't scared of
because
life?
I think it's mainly because I love it so much that I don't want it to end. That's for me.
Just have a good time.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like I don't want it to end. I don't want. Why would it end?
It's like the club is closing
this
down.
is so much fun. I don't want this to go away.
That's
I'll look at
cool.
little kids and be like, they're just gonna be gone one day. Like that's just so nutty to me. We all come in here
Right.
and then we leave and then we don't know what. Anyways, let's talk about your music.
All right then.
So now the band, the album. You make an album. You want to make an album that's Andrew Raiher. It's just you singing your music, and it's going to be kind of rock. And when do you think you might have that ready?
Bloody hell! It's like talking to the record company. Yeah, I don't know. It's a new idea. I've always been a work for hire person. My music, with some important exceptions, has normally been the result of someone saying, I or we need this for this project on the following day in the following way.
Right.
I've normally allowed my real creativity to be driven by that kind of process. In this moment, it feels like the first time that I'm like, I think I'll set the terms. I don't know the answers to your questions.
Yeah. So you mentioned a record company, but don't you think people aren't really working with record companies anymore? They're more working with, they're selling their own, like all the streaming services and doing things in a different way than they used to. Because, my ex-boyfriend was with Virgin Records, but
Right.
I don't think it's the same way now.
There are moments where a lot of artists still definitely need record companies.
Really? So
Oh, yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
like the biggest record company right now? That's
EMI.
EMI.
Yeah, or UMG.
Didn't Sally used to be
UMG.
published with EMI?
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, they all have publishing arms and
Yeah.
record arms. So whether you need resources to help you get your album recorded or mixed or mastered, what are they? They're just agents. They're
Yeah.
agents for all the different in-house services, but
Yeah.
they contract out.
Right.
But do you want to market your own album? Maybe you do. Do you want to learn to be an international quality marketer? Do you? Or do you want to work with partner with a record company and have them do some of that for you? That's all we're talking about. That's what the
Yeah.
record company is for.
Right.
They're just making things easier. They're facilitating.
It just doesn't seem like it's the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like it's the same, that people are getting record deals the same way they used to.
You're right.
And then
It has changed, yeah.
mainly like the big pop stars, they actually have their own record company, or they're going through their own company, so they're not really needing.
Yeah, but
anybody
what do you
else.
think they're doing? They're signing artists.
Yeah.
Those big artists who have their own record companies, which are usually subsidiaries of major labels, they're out there trying to develop artists and repeat themselves so they don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Oh,
It's not the record companies are dead. It's that they have less power for the average self-made artist.
right.
Like the ladder is still the same kind of thing. It's just that the rungs are in different places, and you
Yeah.
can kind of make your own in a different way. It depends what you're
So
trying
you're
to
going to
and on
try
what
to,
scale.
yeah, you're going to go through the record company route when you get this project.
I
up and
mean,
running.
I will do what makes most strategic sense
Yeah.
for me in that moment.
Who are you working with now?
No. Well,
Like
I've
when
just
you
been
do-
doing a thing with Warner's because it was for a Bowie remake album, right?
Wow.
Which is very cool. And you go where the people are. You go where you need to go to get done what you need to get done.
Right.
And if you know someone, that's great.
Yeah. That's
And
always good.
I know a bunch of people at UMG, and if it means that I work with them, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's always good to have connections, especially in Los Angeles. You kind of need them, right?
I mean, you can't get down the street otherwise. Yeah.
Well, I am so happy that you're back, and I think we got some good information out of you this time.
You're talking
And-
about the tattoo on my ankle.
Yeah,
I
I'm glad
assume,
we got.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the main reason I asked you to come in.
Well,
It was
obviously,
like I heard
right.
you had a tattoo on your ankle. I was like, get his ass
Right,
back in here
right,
immediately.
exactly.
I just wanted to say a big, huge thank you for listening and watching again. This is the Paris Chong Show. She's floating around here somewhere, and you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, TikTok. And my guest today is the very talented musician and singer Andrew Raiher, and you can find him on.
The Spotify, Instagram at Andrew Raiher Music, and all the other places. And
And
on the
listen-
web, andrewraiher.com.
Yeah, and listen out for his new album because that's coming next.
So she says.
Yeah, no, it's coming. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Do it.
Okay, thanks to my team. Thank you,
Thanks
Disco.
Thanks so much. He really, honestly does look like the dog from Guardians of the Galaxy. I
He
know that you
does?
know that.
No, I never heard that.
Straight up. Fucking spitting image.
Oh, Disco, you look like a famous dog.